Leader, Just the Way I'm Feeling, XFM 104.9. I love that. Carl, you're panicking. You've just remembered a song from your childhood, and I don't know what you're talking about. But, I'm gonna give out a number. Please take this number down if you can help Carl. It's 08700 800 1234. Right.
I'm not that bothered. We were talking about a track from the 60s.
Yeah.
Mighty Quinn.
Yeah.
And it was on the same compilation. My dad had a tape in the car, and the tape was always on in the stereo thing in the car. And I used to sort of sit through all this stuff I didn't like, but knowing that coming up soon was a song about a monster with purple eyes.
It wasn't Puff the Magic Dragon.
It wasn't that.
A monster. There must be something else about it that give people.
Do you remember a chorus or a few lines?
It says something like, it was a one-eyed, it had big eyes, purple, and it eats people or something.
The big-eyed purple eater. Wasn't there a song called something like that? The big-eyed purple...
And it was a hit,
I'm sure there was. A song which is something like the intergalactic purple eater or something like that. It's a novelty song. Rubbish.
What, by the Bonzo John?
Yeah, it's that sort of thing, yeah. I'm sure
if you know what Carl... Look, the telephones have gone mad!
Yeah, well, we'll find out in a bit. I mean, I'm not that bothered. I'm not going to buy it. It's just that we were talking about songs and that. It'll be good to know who it was, but...
Yeah.
Right, Rockbusters.
Okay, now how long, where did you get to the phone?
What, do you want to just answer that?
Well, answer first, so just answer the phone.
See what it is.
Just see if someone's...
Hello, mate.
Alright.
Yeah, that song, I don't know if it's by, or is that what you want?
That's the bit I wanted, really.
What's the name of the song?
Well, you know how it goes, it's like, born night,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
Sorry, I don't think you've helped much, though. You can't remember what it's called or who it's by.
Well, no, I mean, I know the tune, but that's about it.
But he's done well, Steve, he's done well. He's given up his spare time to call in and sing us a song. Don't diss him.
Rick, I'm concerned he's just only marginally remembering it more than Carl is.
It was actually in, I think it was in the Blob, no, it was in something like the Blob, actually. I think Steve McQueen was driving away and it was running in a sequence.
This is so very familiar. Thanks very much, mate. See if we can get a title off someone.
And XFM.
Hello, yeah, I know the name of that tune.
Go on.
It's the Purple-Eyed People Eater?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Who is it by?
Yeah, well, I'm just at work and,
who is it by?
It came to my mind.
Do you know who it's by?
I don't know who it's by, mate, sorry.
This is not enough information. I wouldn't phone in if I had half the information.
But we asked them just what the tune was.
But I want someone like Paul Gambaccini to call in. He knows what chart position it got to.
Okay, right. Thanks very much.
This is enough information. That's two people.
The thing is, if you know the title, we can put it in the internet, can't we, and find out who did it.
Yeah.
That's full of
Information.
information.
Well, thank you very much for calling in.
I don't know why they bothered trying to. Sorry, no, I mean, I just think if you're going to bother to call in a radio station, have the facts. Have all the facts you have.
He hasn't got the facts, and he runs the radio station.
He doesn't run it. They keep him here like a mascot. He's like a pet, isn't he? They have him running around the office.
God.
Now listen, it's Rockbusters. I've got the prizes here. Rick, I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've given away some shoddy stuff in the past. This is the worst collection.
Is it?
This is really scraping the bottom of the barrel, Carl. I mean,
let's hold on. The phones are going mad. If you're still phoning, hang up because we're not going to bother anymore. We're really sorry about that. Maybe email us or something.
How many of these can we give away?
Look at that. It's only Fools and Horses.
It's the Christmas special from not this year, the year before.
Yeah.
I mean, we have given away so many of these. I imagine there's charity shops throughout London.
Throwing them away.
Yeah, throwing them away. Yeah. So we got that, and if you didn't watch it, if you weren't one of the 20 million that watched it.
Blue-eyed, fat-legged, purple-eater people, if they had a big and had a big boo. It's something like that.
And once again, the best chill-out album ever, with, I mean, this pretty much rubbish.
It was a big boo.
Actually, no, the songs were okay, but
it's
just basically a collection of songs you might have heard on adverts. So enjoy that. Oh god, this one again, the best air guitar album in the world, volume 2.
This is no longer an entertainment show. This is three people chatting to each other now and again. Sometimes we remember it's going out, sometimes we just take a call for our own amusement. I mean,
it's the same price again. It's the David Attenborough, compilation of DVDs, which I'd be very surprised if it actually makes it to you. I imagine someone here will have had that long before we post it.
Oh dear.
There's a t-shirt in here.
XFM 104.9.
You get sent a lot of
Just in
crap
case you're wondering
t-shirts.
what you're listening to. You're
This
listening
is
to.
a
What is that?
Quicksilver t-shirt.
What is
That's
that?
fine.
What t-shirt is
That's
that?
a t-shirt made by the Quicksilver people, so if you're a bit of a surfer dude, and by the look of the size of it, you're a midget.
You can't
then
say midget.
You're welcome to it. And this is, I think, the piece de resistance, Rick. I mean, because you know the kind of fans we have. They're pretty cool cats, pretty groovy guys.
Yeah.
So I imagine they'll be loving on DVD Doctor Who, the Aztecs. That's one of William Hartnell, the first Doctor's classic episodes on DVD
God.
there.
You know,
Rubbish. That's rubbish, Carl, those prizes. I'm ashamed to give them away.
Carl, you know our mate Johnny, he's a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
Do you remember, he bought, the Doctor Who magazine, and he went, to the toilet, and Steve got post-it notes and put geek on every page. And Johnny opened it on the tube, right, and it had geek and everything. And Johnny bought in the new Doctor Who magazine, I think this week's or this month's, right? And they've done the perfect Doctor Who fan, right, what the geek is, right, and it looks exactly like Steve.
Alright, don't have a go, Rick.
It does. And, I'm going to try and put it on the website. It's amazing. It's got your hair, glasses, it stands like you, it's sort of dressed like you, and it's only, it's hilarious. And he was, I mean, I'm insulting you now. It sounds like an insult, but if you see it, you'd laugh.
Well, Rockbusters, right?
Yeah.
Right, here we go.
Just a little bit annoyed.
Just, 3 clues.
We've lost all the energy in this show, haven't we?
Well, I can't get over that insult. I'm just a little...
No, we did, though.
It just came out, no, I can be honest with you.
Things,
It came out left
clues.
field. I wasn't expecting an insult.
No,
And,
but I
I
think
think there was a sense of camaraderie on this.
No, I'll bring
Just
it
email in,
and you'll see what I mean.
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
I'm just annoyed. I can't
What are we
use
doing?
Rockbusters
I'm
clip.
just reading out the clues.
Should we put this, let's put this one in for the Sony Awards. Let's put this show in for the Sony Awards.
Play a song, Carl, because I need to discuss it.
Springsteen from his new album The Rising on XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. Former just phoned in and said to Karl, stick up for yourself. Don't listen to that Merchant. He does my head in. He's so arrogant.
I don't think I'm arrogant. I think I'm mean.
Yeah.
I just think I'm sort of objectionable. I don't think it's arrogance. I think it's
No.
sort of nastiness.
Yeah.
I'm just not a very nice person. But believe me, I'm not arrogant. I think I'm pathetic. We've had a lot of emails saying, could you bring back White Van Carl?
Oh, yeah.
Which is that section of the show where we ask the questions that the Sun asks
Someone
various
else.
random punters
Yeah.
of Carl. But sadly, recently they've got very politicised and very kind of basically a little bit depressing. So there's not really anything appropriate. But I have trawled the papers looking for other questions posed in other sections of the Sun.
Good idea.
I was just looking here at the Dear Deirdre section, which is the sort of problem page. I don't know what your views are on
I'd
this.
love to see Karl. Oh, God, can we get him a job?
As
Just
an agony.
ask, oh my God, that would be amazing. Right?
Well, here's one. I'd like to see your view on this, Carl. I'm a happily married 42-year-old woman with 4 kids, yet I've developed a huge crush on pop star Darius Dinesh.
Yeah.
It has sent my hormone levels through the roof, and last night I woke my husband up at 4 a.m. for sex. We've been married for 20 years and he can't believe his luck. Recently I've been having...
I want to go to I'll stop you there. Why are you telling me? Right, carry on. Sorry.
Recently, I've been having erotic thoughts about Darius morning, noon and night. I haven't felt like this since I was a teenager and mad about Donny Osmond. My husband is amazed at the change in me. We had sex twice last night and again this morning.
Again, why are you telling me this? Yeah, go on.
He's just boasting. This is not a problem. It's not a problem.
What's
here.
the problem? No problem, just wanted to tell someone. Thanks very much.
I watched Darius on TV last night, and when my husband came home, I dragged him into the kitchen and we made mad, passionate love. Right, they did it then, twice last night, once this morning. That's 4 times. 5 times she's mentioned it so far.
Yeah.
She's doing alright. My husband, this is great bit. My husband thinks it might be his new moustache. Or that I'm going through the menopause, but I
You
know
were thinking
different.
of growing a moustache?
I was
Just
thinking of growing a
change your
moustache.
luck with the ladies?
I love the idea, that's what he thinks it is. He's telling his mates in the pub.
You should
should
go
grow
mad
with
for me.
these.
Grow
The old
with
Tom
these, right?
Selleck.
5 times in the last 24 hours.
Hooray for sexy Darius. So, what do you make of that then? What are your views on that?
Hold on though, if that bloke is reading that paper, that narrows it down
It's
a
gotta
bit.
be, yeah.
Who else did he know? His wife likes Darius, he's had sex 5 times that night, and he grew a new moustache. He's thinking, I wonder if that's me.
Maureen.
Yeah, go on.
But what's your concern? Because I'll tell you what her problem is. She's worried that, the reason that she's now kind of overly excited and she's having this great sex with her husband is because she's actually fantasizing about someone completely different, younger. She's having these wayward thoughts, isn't she? She's a bit concerned about that. What's she concerned? What are your thoughts?
I reckon she's going to start shoplifting soon and coming out in hot flushes. Go on.
Just, they're both happy, aren't they? He's getting what he wants. She's happy. I'd say, yeah, whatever, get on with it.
Do you think that she should confess? She wants to be honest with him.
I wouldn't, because not that many fellas like Darius.
Right.
So, if you're sort of thinking, oh, she'd rather have him than me, I don't
What do you think
it's gonna
Darius would think of this?
He'd probably be happy with that. I mean,
What would you do if you got loads of phone calls, right, from, women going, Karl, whenever you're on the radio, I just have to do it. I just have to do it. Your voice makes me...
I'd say, right, well, you know, it's alright. I'd be happy with that.
Would you?
Yeah. I mean, just in case anyone is doing that.
What would you do to sort of like egg them on a little bit to help them out? What do you think?
What sexy things would you say?
What do you think is your quality? What do you think people would find, you know, pretty horny about you? Is it your sort of mank wine, do you think? Like, just say this. London shit, innit?
I think say that, but, you know, London, it's not that good, is it? Like
I think you've done it there.
So
that's
say something quite sort of sexy though. Say something like, you know,
well,
I love to love you.
Say something sexy.
Say that.
No, say something sexy.
Sue's answers to me, you know, do you love me? I go, yeah, you're alright.
I know that's true.
Yeah.
I know that's true. That's brilliant.
But because one of the things that Deirdre says is that she's wondering if this marriage is going a little bit stale and needs to be freshened up. They need to give a new spice, a new spin to the marriage. What would you do? What advice would you give to spice up, you know, something that they've been married for quite some time?
Get him, I think get Darius, all Darius things, get David Snedden's new video on the telly.
What do you reckon though, Karl?
Just treat them. Do you know what I mean? Just surprise them now and again with stuff. That's what I do.
It's what you've got those condoms, didn't you, that you got two for.
So, hang on, what, you've never done that? What, you surprised Suzanne with what?
You know, I've like,
you stood behind a door and shout at her when she comes in.
Don't drop the jelly!
Yeah, you know, just the usual stuff. There was some free chocolate delivered to work the other day. I took her a bit of that home.
Nice of you, that's really thoughtful.
She didn't like dark chocolate, but I said, well, it's a thought. So, I had it. But,
you know you often benefit from any gift that you give her. The chocolate, the meal, the condoms. There's always something in it for you.
Yeah, there is. I love the idea.
She's got bored with a Christmas present now, though.
What, the condoms?
Yeah.
Or the food that she ate.
Oh, the condoms.
Right. Yeah, she's got tired of filling them with water, throwing them at the passing kids, or putting them on her head and inflating them.
I love the idea of asking problems. What do you think of erectile problems? You know, that Pele advert, he goes, be careful, we haven't got erectile problems, call this number. What would you do if you're impotent? What would you do?
What's the advertising?
Just saying, like, you know, if you can't, you know.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Why have they got him doing it?
Well,
he used to, you know, he used to be able to keep it up for hours, the ball, and then...
yeah. What would you do if you...
To advertise that?
No, if you suddenly couldn't get, you know. What would you do?
I don't think it'd bother me now.
I know you're 30! What's that?
You were talking like you're an 80-year-old.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? You sort of been there, done that now. It's like the boxing and the dancing that I did. It was good as a kid, and now it's like, take it or leave it.
We're a little bit worried. We might have a technical hitch here. We've had no emails, and usually we get loads and loads. So we're worried it's us. Can someone send an email?
Yeah, just a test email.
Yeah, but we won't know if they have or not. They might just be ignoring us. No one might be listening, Steve, so this isn't proof.
I guarantee there's at least one person who would send an email. Maybe if Dickie Anderson's listening, he could do it for us.
Anders! Do us a favour for all the pleasure we've given you over the last few years.
ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
If you haven't heard the Rockbusters, might as well give them out.
Well, let's check the emails working before we do it.
Yeah, otherwise it's a complete... This whole show has been a sham and a farce and a waste of time.
Well, I think they can take that as read.
Right, educate me, Karl.
Right, well,
Educate me.
Well, what we're looking at this week, we've done war, we've done,
We've nailed war. We summed up war with a little French bloke whose battle cry was John's got a moustache.
Right. So, and last week we did science.
What would you do on science then?
Airy Kid.
Brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
So this week we're looking at, medical problems.
I'm sure we do Airy Kid every week.
Medical problems then. I've got a couple of things under the banner of, : then educate me.
Yeah.
We've got, This is interesting. Right. Do you know if you have an operation on your brain, right, what they do is, I mean, this is why I'd never go to the doctors. I don't like doctors because this sort of stuff freaks me out, right? They can operate on your brain, and what they do is, they put you to sleep first, cut your brain case open.
Your skull, yeah.
The brain case.
Yeah, yeah.
And then wake you up and operate on you. So you sat there with your head open, messing with your brain, and you don't feel anything.
Well, there's no nerve endings, is there, in the brain?
But still, it's not right, is it?
What, you think they do it for fun?
No, but...
Go on, Reg, wake him up so he's all freaked out.
Well, is it necessary that you're awake, do you think, or...
Well, they need the brain active, don't they?
Yeah, but it is when you're asleep, you're having mad dreams. I had a mad dream the other day.
Go on.
No, I might tell you about it later, but there's no sense to it. But, so your brain's still...
this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it'll turn out, I'll go, no, Carl, I was there, that wasn't a dream.
Yeah.
No, but... So, I mean, if I had an operation...
On your brain, heaven forbid.
Well, operation anywhere, I'd like to sort of think, well, I'll have an injection, I'll go asleep, but when I wake up, it'll all be sorted.
Yeah.
The fact that...
Your brain case is open.
And they wake you up and you think, oh, is it all done? And they say, well, have a look in the mirror. And your brain...
See, I don't think they do that. I don't think they try and frighten you when you're during an operation.
Yeah, I don't think that you go about your business and they sort of follow you around, dabbling.
Yeah.
No, but it's almost like they are having a bit of a laugh with you.
Right, well, I'd just like to say now that they don't. Anyone who's going in for an operation on their head, do not ever listen to anything Carl says.
Why have you got to be awake? Because you'll be bored anyway, you'll be sat there.
Well, they give you a telephone directory, look, and they say, look how many Macs are in there. That's the Scottish telephone directory. And, you know, time flies when you're counting that sort of thing.
No, but do you know, like, when you...
What are you telling me? What are you asking me?
I'm just saying how weird it is. It's weird, isn't it? It's like, do you know when you go for a haircut, right? It's a bit embarrassing. Well, I don't anymore, but when you go for a haircut, it used to be...
When you go for a haircut?
It used to be a bit embarrassing when, like, they'd wet your hair and they'd make you have that sort of Hitler cut because your hair's wet, and I used to hate it, and I think, do you have to do that? Do you know what I mean? You know
it's
what I mean?
Similar. It's very similar to open skull surgery.
What I'm saying is, it's almost like barbers like to do that to make you look daft and feel daft for a bit, and there's women coming in and out, and you're sat there with a daft haircut.
Yeah.
And this is what that reminds me of.
Do you think they do it in a shop window, this brain operation?
I'm just saying, it's a bit weird.
Why are we doing it in John Lewis's? Just so more people
I love the idea that that's what doctors are doing. Let's make this guy look a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Open his brain
Look
case.
at the twatty look with his brain out of his head.
Take a Polaroid, Reg. Take a Polaroid.
Look at him. Look at his face. Right, clock his face when I give him the mirror. Get this on camera.
Put this fake nose and glasses
on. Did you teach me something then? Was that educational?
I taught you that your brain case can be open with your awake, and you just sat there sort of letting them get on with it.
Brilliant. I've learned that. I'll never forget that. Right, go on. Anything else?
You'll love... Let's play a song, because the next one is amazing.
What, even more amazing than that?
Yeah. Play a song?
Yeah, bit of Bowie?
No email still, by the way.
No, I don't think it's working.
It's not working today.
Lady Stardust.
We'll have to do a phone-in for Rockbusters.
Off the Ziggy Stardust album.
Alright.
Lady Stardust off Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant. Karl Pilkington is in the middle of educating me. Colon then, educate me.
Right, so,
I've learnt that you can, you know, fiddle around with your brain when awake. That's brilliant.
I've never been a fan of doctors, though, so this was a good one for me to look up, because...
Yeah.
Did I tell you the time when, the doctor said, I was gonna die?
Alright, keep talking.
Right, ages ago, must have been about 15, right? And, at lunchtime there was this... We used to have a choice of stuff to do at lunchtime, right? We used to have, like a burger place that had an arcade machine in it, right? So we used to go there and play on that and have a burger. Or, there was this baker's, right, that my mum worked at, and, did great cakes and stuff, right? So, she used to, like, bring some home and that, but she couldn't always bring them home every night because, you know, they'd cost money, and she used to get them for free. And they used to say they'd rather chuck them away than give them to the staff because there's a chance that the cream might be off.
Right.
Right, so they used to chuck them round the back. So I used to go round the back with my mate, and eat a load.
Brilliant. Scavengers eating out of bins.
No, it wasn't out of bins, they were still in trays, but they just stacked them up near the bins, right? So this got out, I mean, it used to be chocker. Once the school found out, everybody used to go there, and it'd be like, well, have a cake.
The headmaster crawling through, fighting the kids off.
Right, so I'd have, you just eat, I don't know, 6 jam donuts or something, and then you'd spend your dinner money on the arcade machine.
Brilliant.
Right? So it was a good afternoon, really, right? So you'd do that, and this one day I must have had 6 or 7 jam donuts, a few Congress tarts.
What's a Congress tart?
I love them, I can't get them in London, right? So I'd have some of them.
If anyone can get a Congress tart for Karl in London, please let him know.
So anyway, this day, that was just a normal day. Do you know what I mean? You'd once or twice a week, you'd have a load of cake.
In your life,
yeah. That's normal day in your life. Were the frog boys there with the webbed hands and the big heads? And the horse in the settee? Yeah.
But the day after one of these days, I had really bad cramp in my belly. Right? I was like in agony, could hardly walk. So I said to my mum,
you could hardly stagger to the free cakes.
So, I was in absolute agony. I said, I don't like doctors, but you'll have to get a doctor in because I don't know what it is, I can't walk. She gets the doctor round. I won't say his name, but he said, well, doesn't look like he's got long left.
Blimey.
So I was a bit like, hang on a minute, I've only had a few cream donuts.
Yeah.
My mum was panicking.
Sure.
He went, my dad came in from work, she said, something's really bad with Karl, I think it's serious, the doctor said he ain't got long left. So he said, what, he said that and just left? So she said, yeah. So I'll have to call him then. So he called him up, said, what's all this about? Karl hasn't got long left, how long's he got? So he goes, I was only messing. He's just had some bad cream. Can you believe that?
Well, the thing is,
I like the fact your mum didn't ask any questions.
I know.
She didn't go into detail. Can you explain more, Doctor? No, I got to show off.
But she doesn't.
I don't want to diss you or your family, but I imagine if I was there, I'd have known the doctor was joking. Yes. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I sound very arrogant there, but I imagine he went, what's he been doing? I had about 6 cream grains. Oh, right. Oh, wow. He hasn't got long to live then. I'll see you later. That's what I think the doctor did.
Yeah. I just love the idea your mum just let him go.
Yeah.
Terrified, thinking, well, I'm not going to probe him, that's it then.
Dad comes in, hi honey, I'm home. Anything happened? The doctor said Karl's going to die and then left. Did he? I'll call him.
But anyway, that's why these sort of things fascinate me. So we'll move on to this next one, right, which is brilliant. Dead short story. So, right, old woman, about 70 years old. Yeah. She's normally fit and healthy and stuff, nothing wrong with her, she's having a good life. And one day, she goes for a check to the doctor's, just to check herself out, because she's getting on a bit.
Yeah.
Says, take your clothes off and that. So she does, and checks her out, says, yeah, you're looking good. Turn round. He said, oh God. He said, you got a tumour on your buttock. Right? So she goes, oh, what, can you do anything to sort it out? So they go, yeah, we'll book you in for an operation, it's best if we remove this. Books her in for an operation. Operation day comes, strip her down and that, they're all stood round, the doctors, start to operate. It only turns out it's a pork chop that she sat on 5 years earlier, and it had stuck to her buttock.
Right, Karl.
I can forward you. Serious.
Right, okay, Karl, I'm telling you now, I'm leaving. I'm never doing this show again.
No, I'm serious. Honestly,
you're talking. I've never edited such. You are. Play a record.
I couldn't believe it.
What do you mean you can't believe it? Stop the record. Right, okay, right, what do you mean you couldn't believe it?
No, when I read it, I said, I've got to tell Richard.
This woman had a pork chop stuck to her arse for 5 years, you mental case. Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington, right, get off. Right, what you got next?
Right, well, running a bit late with this, but it's time for, Do We Need 'Em? We're looking into what
I'm really worried about this, because everyone's getting that last clue wrong. I reckon it's so rubbish that even your mental fans can't work it out.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but...
Give that final Rockbusters clue again.
The Jamaican fella had to have some aspirin. Why is that? Why did he have to do it?
No, hold on, that's changed.
Well, it doesn't matter. The story
it doesn't matter. That's the point of a cryptic clue, isn't it? Oh, what have you got now?
Right, so we're looking into animals that we get rid of. I've spoken to someone about snails, I've spoken to someone about jellyfish, and that, and, looking at cockroaches today.
Right, now who's the expert?
It's a woman called, Jessica Marshall.
Right.
Does she know that you're going to play this on the radio?
Well, I called up, right, in the week and said, can I talk to someone about cockroaches? And she was like, is that Karl?
She knows who you are.
Yeah.
Right, so she already knows maybe your angle, your approach.
Yeah, she was up for it.
She's an expert, she's just not just some random person.
No, she works in a museum, a good museum. I said I'd give it a plug. It's the one near Knightsbridge. It's got dinosaurs and that in it. It's worth seeing.
Natural History Museum?
Yeah. So,
Not sure. He's not sure.
this is what happened. Now, what I'll do, I'll tell you as much as I know, and then you can fill me in if I'm right or wrong. And then at the end of it, we'll get to the bottom of whether we need them or not.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, the first thing that I found out is that they have 18 knees.
That's not exactly possible. They're insects, so they have 6 legs.
Yeah.
And a knee is usually the junction between femur and tibia. That's sort of classic human knees and every other animal knee. So with 6 legs, you can only have 6 knees.
Could somebody sort of got mistaken for seeing one that was a bit double jointed?
I think you're grasping at straws or something.
Alright, well, we might have to come back to that one then.
Okay.
They can hold the breath for 40 minutes.
Well, they don't do that because they don't breathe in the same way as us. They breathe through little spiracles, holes down the side of the body, so, no, they're not a very apt simile because the method of breathing is so different.
What do you mean?
Because insects have a totally different system. They don't have lungs in the way that we do, just breathing through one part of the body. They're actually breathing through every segment of the body all of the time.
So even though they've got their mouth shut, they might be able to slide.
Nothing to do with breathing.
So
only feeding.
So you see, maybe that's where someone's gone wrong. Someone's got hold of one and sort of taped its mouth up or something and got bored after 40 minutes and said, well, we'll call it right.
It's a pretty unkind thing to do to an insect, even to a cockroach.
Yeah, but it's all...
You can't do that.
Yeah, but...
No. Pretty unkind thing to do anything, even a cockroach.
Something else I found out.
Yeah.
They can live for a week without an head.
Well, that's true if they don't bleed to death in the process.
But the weird thing is, when I told you that they had 18 knees, you seemed a bit sort of like, don't talk ridiculous. But then we're talking about an animal that can live without an head. So there's a little bit of truth in that one, yeah?
Yes.
Why, when it was invented, has it got that facility? Say if someone said to humans, we could do that with humans, and, you know, if you lose your head in some accident, it gives you a bit of time to sort of go back to your family and maybe write them a note. You won't be able to have a chat, but write them a note saying, it was my own fault, and it was nice knowing you.
Well, that would be a useful facility, I agree, but cockroaches are great survivors. I mean, they've been around for over 300 million years. They're one of the most primitive insects.
Alright. Well, I've also, is it true that they do a lot of resting? Apparently they can sort of rest for 75% of the time.
Rest?
Yeah, they just sit about doing nothing.
It's probably true of a vast proportion of the world's fauna. Well,
I mean, maybe the 25% that they are working, they're really giving it some, so it might make up.
They're probably searching out food and, yeah, they can slow down considerably. You can chill insects in the fridge and they'll become very, very quiet. You might think they're dead.
Yeah, but I'm sure, you know, if we were sat in a fridge, you know, we'd go a bit quiet, wouldn't we, you know?
Well, you might not know much about it, of course.
Yeah, but...
You're not quite reading the right sources.
Well, I've been using the internet.
I'm sure there are many useful sources that you could find there, but some of those seem to have been a little misleading to you.
So you don't agree with a lot of what I've told you there?
No.
So, cockroaches, can we get rid of them?
No.
So we're keeping them then?
I would say so, yeah.
I think we should get her on more often because she sounds like she'd be a bit of an ally really. Because she knew immediately that you were talking nonsense. She even said, I think you should be more concerned about your sources, which I've been trying to tell you for a year, right? The fact, I mean 18 knees, where did you get that from?
It was on the internet.
They can hold their breath for 40 minutes. I mean, I don't know what you read and take on.
Mad world, don't it?
Right, Carl's been taking phone calls for these clues. Right, and so everyone's been saying the same thing for the last one. He's been going, no, and I'm worried, I'm always worried. FD. I just overheard him on the call there going, ah! What have I been saying? Oh, no, it's FP. Dickhead. Right, give me the clues out, it's a rollover. Right, tell people, we're really sorry to anyone who would have got that right. Okay, right, do the clues quickly, tell them it'll be a rollover, so we have to do 3 new ones.
Do you not write these down,
You're such a...
I don't write the answers down in case Ricky looks over the thing and sees the answer.
Why would I cheat? I'd rather you do something right with your life.
Right, well, the clues were, I've got 3 other jumpers like this one.
Yeah.
That was FT.
Yeah.
They got that, 4 tops.
Yeah, that's alright. Good, well done.
That bunch of people can't make up their minds if they want to sit in the sun or not. That was C, they were getting that. That was charlatans. Charlatan, right? A bunch of them charlatans, right?
What do you mean? What's Charlie?
No, it's like, shall I go out? Shall we? Charlatans. They got it, right? Where I went wrong with this one, the Jamaican fella, he had to have some aspirin. Why? It's my fault, you know, I'm not cutting, there's no point passing the book or anything. I said FD, a lot of people were saying, Fred Durst, like, forehead hurts, which is a good one.
Yeah, which would have been as good as any of yours.
But I made an error, so we'll roll it over.
No, what is the answer?
What
was the answer?
over.
Jamaican fella what? Add some aspirin, why do that? What's the thing?
FP.
FP, it was Frida Payne.
Frida Payne.
Frida Payne.
Frida Payne.
Frida Payne. That's awful. You've got to write these down next week.
I'm sorry,
you're the producer.
I know, but I've had a busy week, haven't I?
That's not an excuse. That isn't an excuse.
Our excuse is we don't care.
Yeah.
You do
put
care.
the work in and then make a mistake.
Yeah. I mean, it's better not to try than try your hardest and be rubbish. Do you see what the point? We don't care.
But you've got standards.
Yeah, and
you're not meeting them.
Think of that! You're not even reaching your standards. God!
Right, well that's that I guess. Well, the prizes will be, giving those away next week.
Again. Just completely...
Song for the ladies to end the show with. It's from Nick Cave's new album, Nocturama. This is a track called He Wants You. Back next week.
There you go. Feeder, just the way I'm feeling. XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. We've got a great show lined up this week, haven't we?
Go on, what have you got planned?
Well, I've got songs from David Bowie, Thin Lizzy, Gene, AC/DC, you heard Feeder, they got, Smiths, all that. We got a great feature, a new feature. Spoke to Karl in the week, and we worked out a new feature where, people are gonna give him sort of like problems to solve. There could be scenarios, there could be management scenarios at work, you know, problem solving, things like that, organising things. He's a very good organiser, so I'll tell you what happened. He's dropping Do We Need Him, because he's getting fed up with scientists. He thinks there's a conspiracy and they're getting together, and they're never gonna lose an animal.
Right.
So he's just fed up with that. Rockbusters, we've got some great prizes.
Well, have you seen them yet?
No.
Be careful.
They're not going to be great,
I just peeked in, and all I'm going to say to you is, Fools and Horses Christmas Special?
Not the little one with the little car.
With the little car, yeah.
Brilliant. That is excellent. Karl, what have you got to say for yourself? Hold on, it was a rollover, wasn't it? Because you really mucked up Rockbusters last time. What was he doing? It's saying FP for the whole thing. No, FD you were saying, and it was Frida Payne.
Have you written the clues down this week? Because that seems like an obvious way to improve it.
Yeah, I'll write the clues
The week before he couldn't remember what the answer was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, you learn by your mistakes and that.
You don't.
Well.
So I'll give you a little taster. But we were having a pizza in a pizza establishment. When was it? Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah.
And he was going, I'm a good organiser, I'm a good problem solver. Give me any scenario, right? Obviously he didn't say scenario. And I went, okay then, so you're the manager of this place, and there's a couple there, elderly couple, they're about 60. They've had a lovely meal. He went, yeah, right. I went, but the gentleman, he's got a little bit of a heart condition. He takes a pill after his meal, as he should, after meals. He's only taken Viagra.
Oh.
And now he's stuck in.
Wedged in?
Wedged in.
We've all been there.
It's gone, and it's stopping him getting out from the table.
Yeah.
So what would you do? He went, what? He's stuck in because of his dick. I went, yeah. He went, right. He said, I'd use the situation, I'd make cash. I said, you're not going anywhere, do you want a pudding?
Entrepreneurial, I like it, Carl.
And he went, so that's that sorted, I've got the job on that. Next, I went, okay. Another, you won't believe it. Next day, there's a little problem in the toilets. Two gay men were having sex and they got stuck in each other. Yeah. He went, right. I'd say, is it the same fella as yesterday with the Viagra? If so, why was he let in again? He was on the door.
Yeah.
I went, it's not, it's too different. He goes, right.
Does his wife know he's cheating on him?
Yeah. He went, right, I'd go down, I'd go, and then he went, I'd say this isn't a restaurant problem, call an ambulance. Strictly speaking, not a restaurant problem, no.
But am I right?
Huh?
Am I right?
Well, I don't know.
Would you give me the job if say, like, you were the boss of that restaurant and you...
Do you know what I like about this? At no point did he say, Gervais, why are you being so mental?
Yeah.
Why would someone get stuck because they took Viagra by mistake and two people get stuck in each other?
But you've heard the stories from his past. That is a perfectly legitimate situation to find yourself in. If you grew up in his part of
What would you
Manchester.
do if there was two fellas with big heads and webbed feet and they had a horse in a... Well, what I'd do is... What would you do? What did you do when you first saw them?
What, saw the
kids
lads with the big heads and
Yeah.
I
We should very quickly remind people, if they didn't listen to that particular show, they had webbed hands.
Yeah.
Did they, or webbed feet?
Well, they had webbed hands.
Right.
And big
And
heads.
enormous heads.
But it wasn't related.
But they weren't related
I know,
to each
they were
other.
completely
No,
separate
but I'm
people.
saying that the webbed hands isn't due to the fact they've got a big head.
No, sure.
It's two different things. We're just unlucky.
Yeah.
No, hold on. If they weren't related, and they both had webbed hands and big heads, I'm saying there was a condition that was related that had those two
I don't think there was.
So what do you think the chances of that are? They're not related, and he goes, oh, you got a big head and webbed hands as well. Yeah, just a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. I honestly don't think it was related.
Right.
Because I've since seen the same problem again on another kid with a big head. His hands look good.
Right, so you think the big head is just a separate issue?
Yeah, it's a totally different illness. It's like having a headache and a cold at the same time.
Right,
It's,
so
you know.
not always connected.
But the weird thing is, right, and looking around in the week at weird stuff on the internet, there's this woman who's got a big head,
Oh, yeah.
and she was fed up with it because when she was walking down the street, it was so big she couldn't hold it up.
Right.
Right?
She couldn't hold it up.
Oh God.
Okay, shut up.
So
She couldn't hold it up.
when she was walking, her eyes were hurting because she had to sort of look up all the time because her head was that heavy. Her chin was sort of balanced on her chest.
Right, and she'd have to peek up, yeah.
So she goes to the doctors, and this was after years and years, and said, you know, I thought I could put up with it, but I can't. It's
How big was her head?
It's big, Rick.
I don't know if it was like big because there wasn't a picture. I don't know if it was just big or a lot of bone, so it was heavy.
Very heavy.
Right, like the Elephant Man, just
So
outcrops.
right. So the doctor said, we can sort that out, but we'll have to take your head off.
Right.
Okay,
Listen
keep
to this.
going.
Listen,
Okay, keep going.
because what you don't seem to understand is I have the same reaction to you when I see it.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
You're quizzical yourself.
So I looked at it, they took her head off, chipped away a bit of the bone, made her head lighter, put it back on.
By the Smiths on XFM 104.9. So, what's the email, Carl? If people want to ask you something, a problem, they've got a problem to solve. It can be anything. It could be a personal problem, it could be a scenario, it could be about war. It can be anything. But
Or it could be more flippant, I suppose, and light-hearted.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but I prefer stuff that I could
So you can
sort
get your teeth into.
and actually, you know, sort out.
What, like war?
War is it's a bit big for me, that one.
Do you think?
I don't want to get into that.
What do you mean? If Tony Blair came to you and he went, Carl, listen, I'm having a bit of trouble here. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I've tried spin. I've tried being tough. I've tried backing down. I've tried getting other countries involved. They don't want to know. What do I do? What do I do? You don't know?
Tricky one. I don't
It's a tricky
get
one, it's a tricky one,
involved. I don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get in the bath, put a mattress on top of you. That's it.
Sorry, why are you doing that?
Ooh, slow down.
Why are you doing that?
That's what they say you do, innit? If it kicks off.
If war kicks off.
If there's a war and that, you get in the bath, put a mattress on top.
Right. Did they do that in the Second World War for 6 years?
Was that making bunk beds?
That's what I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Is the bath full of water?
No. Might be daft.
Okay.
I think they were enamel baths then, though. I think they'd stop a bit of shrapnel. I think the plastic ones you get nowadays would probably melt on you. And the mattress, where your dad has cut it in half, all the foam would come out and the springs would get you in the eye.
Oh, talking about me dad. Steve, you'll love this, right?
Go on.
My dad hates being ripped off, right?
Yes, well, now I can relate to that, that's important.
Hates coming to London now. He always wants me to go and see them rather than come here, because he just thinks London is like a big rip-off. Last time he came, he got annoyed because I bought him a scone and a cup of tea for like 3 of us, and it was £14, and he just was livid. And then we had an argument about that, and then we went to the Millennium Wheel, and I said, do you fancy going on this? He said, oh, alright, and then he saw the price, and it was something like 20 quid or something. And he said, 20 quid to go up in the air to look at stuff that's on the ground. He said, I might as well stay on the ground.
Brilliant.
Right? Thought, good point.
His logic is impeccable.
So anyway, this is going on. Anyway, he spoke to me the other day. I said, how are things? Are they alright now? He said, oh, being ripped off. I said, why? He said he ordered, do you know the place where he got a new bed from, because he cut the other one in half,
yeah.
right? He got this bed out of a catalogue. So he sorted out a payment on the phone. He said, look, you're ripping me off a bit here on the interest thing, but, well, let's do a deal. We'll sort out a new monthly payment. That's different to what it says in the catalogue. And he said, yeah, we'll go along with that. Anyway, so he sorted that out. He was happy. The bed arrived. It's a nice bed. He said, that's great. So anyway, he got the bill for it, and it was the original price.
Oh, I thought it might be the case, yeah.
Right? So he called up and said, I'm not happy with this. He said, we said a deal. And I'm like, oh, no, don't know what you're talking about. He said, right, don't send me your catalogues anymore. He said, I'm not buying anything from you. You're a rip-off merchant. Right? So anyway, a few weeks go by. Post comes. Only another catalogue in the post.
He's livid.
Right? So he was well annoyed.
Yeah.
So he looked on the back, and it said on it, this catalogue will always be property of, the company that does it. So you can't throw it away. If we request to have it back, we've got the permission to get it back off you. Right? So he thought, right, well, they're out of order. I told them not to send me one, and they have done, and they're saying I can't chuck it away. So he called them up and said, alright, Mr. Pilkington here, bought a bed off you conned me, and that. But, forget that. We've dealt with that. You've sent me a catalogue, I told you not to. It says on the back here that this will always be yours. Yeah? So, in a way, you're using my house as a warehouse. I'll be charging you 26 pence or something a day.
Brilliant.
He said, you already owe me £6.28. Something like that.
Genius.
And, sorted it out. So again, it's just...
So hang on, but are they going along with this?
I don't know what happened. He said they sounded annoyed and said they'd get back to him, and they haven't. But he said, I'm not bothered. They can take as long as they want because the money just keeps going up.
Yeah. So what sort of profit has he made so far?
Well, when I spoke to him in the week, it was like £6 odd.
Yeah.
I think that was on Tuesday. So he's just leaving it. It's like an investment.
Yeah. It's like an antique.
It's just going up every day. So,
well, keep us posted on that. That's dynamite. One day we need to speak to your father.
Yeah, I think so.
So many questions need to be asked of him.
In fact, I might sit and give you a letter to take home.
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Pilkington, your son Karl.
New single from Nick Cave, I think.
I must admit, I was a latecomer to Nick Cave.
He's extraordinary, yeah.
I mean, years into his solo stuff before, I decided that he was brilliant.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
He's fantastic. I had some exciting news this week, Karl. You'll be pleased to find out. I'm worried that you might get a little bit jealous, because it's obviously going to impact on your world quite strongly, because I know you think you like things to be quite samey. You like the status quo to be maintained. You like the fact that in the past, we've had some crosswords, because I remember, what did you think of me when I first walked in? When I first came in on the first day of XFM?
I don't know why you're making a big deal out of it, because I'm just being honest, though. I'm just being honest about a lot of people who see you for the first time sort of go, well, he's a bit weird.
I know that, Steve, that you brought it up, and then you're again.
But I'm sure that wasn't what he said before.
No,
did he say before?
Yeah, well,
he's a bit weird.
Yeah, well, he looked at you, and I knew, I could see by the look on his face. You know when your kid, and your kid's sort of scared of something, and they go, why's your kid? He goes, oh, he doesn't like pigeons or spiders. Right. It was like that. When I saw Karl, and I brought you in, and I went, what do you think of that, Karl? I could see the look on his face that he was disturbed.
Sure.
And then, as he said, you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah, you get used to it. And you have changed a little bit. Your hair's a bit smarter now, and you got some nicer glasses and that, I think. Or I might have just got used to it.
Whoa! Don't bring it up, Steve. Don't look at me like that.
So you say that you think some other people in the office thought the same? Do you know that for sure?
Carl.
Did you discuss it?
Carl.
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
Okay, leave it there then.
But not just in the office, as you walk through the building.
Oh, it's worse than you ever thought!
Well, no, it's not worse than I ever thought, because as you well know, Ricky Gervais,
Yeah.
what did I do on, Thursday morning?
Oh, is this the thing,
For those that perhaps are not of the female persuasion listening, there's a magazine. Apparently it sells quite well. It's one of the sort of female, you know, kind of issues magazines. I think it's called Company Magazine. You know, it's like your sort of, I guess it's a bit like your Moore or your Vanity Fair or whatever. Anyway, they run every year the 50 most eligible bachelors in Great Britain section. Ding dong, hello. Who's in there this year? In the 50? In the top 50 of the entire country?
and then they vote, and they put them in order and see who's the most eligible bachelor.
But that's 50 people, right? It always annoys me slightly because bachelor, it kind of seems like a more sophisticated word for loser.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
no.
Which always sort of unnerves me
And also
slightly.
they try and do a different 50 every year, so they're getting pretty desperate to get different ones.
No,
because also a lot of people who are sort of like successful, are married, so there's very little to...
No, there's a huge, I don't know if this is international, it could even be international, I'm not sure actually, so I could be up there with the likes of Justin Timberlake, etc. So, Fred Durst.
Yeah.
That sort of person, you know. So anyway, this is what's exciting, right? Although I'm slightly frustrated because they were telling me that last year, alright, because what happens is the readers of the magazine, they vote for who they think is number one most eligible bachelor, right? Last year, the prize was a 2-week trip in the Bahamas, okay? This year, I'm rather annoyed, because all I'm gonna win is a moped. That's the prize this year, that's the prize this year, a moped.
Whoa, backtrack.
What?
Sorry? Last year was a 2-week trip to Bahamas, and this year
Just a moped, all I'm gonna get is a moped.
All you're gonna win is a moped.
Yeah,
you got no chance.
You've
got no chance. Who else is in it? Who else is in it?
Well, I mean, I don't know lots of people you'd never heard of. I know Duncan from Blue was in this.
So you're second to him at least already. I imagine you're gonna come behind the other 49.
Because there'll be people voting for me. They get to vote for me.
Yeah, Steve.
They'll see my photo and then they can vote for me.
Yeah, according to Heat, I was 22nd most sexy man in the world. AC/DC. Brilliant. You shook me all night long on XFM 104.9. Well, this show is a rockin'.
It is.
Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington. I came up with a new, strand for Karl as well. He's always got, we've done, I don't think there's a week gone where we haven't mentioned an hairy kid.
A hairy child, you're right.
Yeah. And some related to a monkey and that, and I thought you could do a regular thing where he's got to come up with a story about an ape or a monkey, and it's called Chimpanzee That.
Of course.
I have got one, but I can't remember it at the moment, so I'll just
It'll come to you whenever you join the show. Well, listen, while you're thinking about that, while you're stewing on that, here's a problem that someone's emailed in. We're taking emails today. If you've got a problem, a concern, or, just a general query that you think Karl could answer for you. It could be about anything. It could be about some of the big kind of philosophical questions.
Yeah.
It could be something to do with war or famine, anything like that. Or it could just be a personal dilemma, something that's happening locally. Anyway, this seems one that I think you and your father have probably come across this sort of dilemma in the past. And I'd be interested to know what your take is on it. Let me see, this is from Lee Matthews by the look of it. He says, he lives in a suburban area where the local teenagers also live on the same road, and they're running riot. They're smashing wing mirrors off the cars, they're crashing into parked cars on their skateboards, they're just generally making mayhem, night and day. What can you do to stop this going on? The parents of the kids don't seem to give a damn. Anyone who complains to them, they just say, "I'll piss off." The police are useless because they never catch them in the actual act of violence, which is what they got to do to apparently convict them. So they don't know who to turn to, really. It's rather like when a little old lady went and got the A-team,
and he was dressed as an elderly Chinaman.
Exactly.
She knew who he was. Colonel Decker didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
See, it's weird because now it has got out of hand.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like years ago when I was growing up on the estate, you had problems, but not like you have now. Do you know what I mean?
Summers were nice as well, weren't they?
Well, it did seem that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right, and...
Police are getting shorter and
younger. But you yourself kind of admitted in the past that you were something of a tearaway. You didn't do anything like these kids here,
the thing is, I was scared that if I got caught doing it, my dad would go mad.
Yes.
And I remember smashing a car window by accident and legging it in the lounge, and sort of pretending to go asleep on the settee.
Genius.
And I heard a knock at the door.
He chloroformed himself, just to be unconscious when his dad came home.
And there was a knock on the door, and I thought, oh god, this is the fella who saw me. I was chucking a stone in the air, seeing how high I could throw it.
Of course you were. Did it keep landing on your head? That would explain a lot.
And it came down.
Chucking a stone in the air, love it!
See how far I could throw.
Brilliant.
So, you know, I wasn't bothering anyone.
Did you invent that game?
Right?
Did you get the stone for your birthday? Go and play with your stone.
He gave one to Suzanne.
Carl, go and play with your stone.
The thing is, right, and it came down at a funny angle, and
Of course it did.
It ate the back of this car, and the back window is the most expensive because it has that heating thing in it.
Yeah.
In case you've got a frosty window.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh god. So I legged it in, got on the settee, went to sleep, knocked at the door.
Genius. It's a brilliant plan. It's a brilliant plan. I couldn't be guilty. I'm asleep.
So
I love the idea.
So the thing is, our lounge used to sort of, you could see in from the door, right? So this family, who saw me do it, saw me asleep on the settee, and my mum said, go and get the door. And I sort of went, oh, as if I'd been asleep.
Yeah.
And went to the door, like, rubbing my eyes. And the fella said, what did you run off for? I saw you. I was like, oh no. And I didn't see my dad. I went out. It was when he was working sort of evenings. So I went out so I didn't have to see my dad. And then the next day I came home from school, and my dad said, 45 quid.
Ooh.
That's all he said.
That's all he
He
said.
looked at me.
And then you fell asleep, and he went, wake up. You know what I said? No, 45 quid.
No, the thing
Carl.
he didn't have to do anything.
£45, Carl. Now, I know you were saving up for a brick, but you can't have it.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like, I knew I did wrong, and I was scared that my dad was going to belt me.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, you know, I'll be more careful next time.
But that was clearly good parenting on the part of your father, because these young tykes, clearly they don't have the,
what do you do?
the father support.
I don't even, I don't know if
you were living in that street, very quickly, what would you do? What would your approach be? If you were living in his street?
What if they'd come over and they just vandalised all your pebbles, right, that you've been saving over the years, and just threw your gravel away? What would you do if they just...
I'd probably clout one of them.
So you'd use violence?
I think it's the only way sometimes.
Sometimes the only way.
And I don't mean, you know, really bad, but I'd show them that I'm not putting up with this.
Right.
And then the problem is you've got their family coming round, and they're probably quite...
Go to sleep. If you hit a kid and the dad comes down, just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Just
equally, if you're doing a bigger crime, you know, a bank job or a murder.
Remember to take the stocking off your head, because if they wake you up and go, why have you got a stocking on your head? Just go, oh, I had a weird dream. It won't work.
It's like with our kid, right? He was, I told Ricky about this the other day in the pub, but
Is this your brother?
he never,
Because he was a terror, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, a little bit, but it
He
was
did
more...
drive a tank down the high street once, didn't he?
Yeah, that's when he was in the army.
Yeah.
But
Another story.
But this time, I remember, my mum and dad were going out, right, for the evening. And, I must have been about, 5, so our Mark was like, probably 18, something like that, 16, 17, 18. So my mum and dad go out, and our Mark says to me, right, here's a deal, do your little deal. I'm gonna have a load of, women round. Right, deal is, I'll let you have your tractor in the house.
Wow, he had a tank, you had a tractor.
but his brother didn't have the rocks that Carl had.
No.
So he needed the tractor to put his toys
What kind of a
along.
man was he? He brought a bunch of women round.
So, yeah, there was loads of... But do you know when you're a kid, you don't think, oh, I know what they're up to. You're not bothered, are you? Do you know what I mean? As long as I've got my tractor, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I was...
He actually hasn't changed a bit.
But how many women did he have round? Was it just him and, like, a bunch of women?
Yeah.
Was it like, what's his name? What's his name? Look like Nedwell from Confessions.
Yeah.
Confessions of an older
Well, they all
brother.
just came round and had a
He
big
liked
orgy.
his women. Seriously, right, my mum and dad had to move because they got sick of women coming round saying, I've got a kid, and it's your Mark's. They had to move because it got that bad.
Did you hear, when you were playing on your tractor, and there was women running back and forth in underwear, did you ever hear this noise? Did you ever hear that?
Or kind of wow, 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 wow.
Wow. And just see your brother's arse disappearing down the thing
exactly.
being chased by a butcher. Did you ever?
It's not important, is it?
Is that what it's going to be like, do you think, when I'm voted #1 most eligible bachelor in Great Britain?
Yeah, and you come in on your motor. Killer. Open brackets, summer rain, close brackets. On XFM 104.9, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, Karl Pilkington.
Rockbusters?
See that time?
It is indeed. Last week, of course, it was a disaster.
Yeah, every Saturday at 16 minutes to 2, we do Rockbusters.
I have to say that I've not really gone through them, but the prizes look exactly the same as they were last week.
Yeah.
There's that T-shirt.
So it's a rollover, but you haven't added to it.
Have you not?
The point of a rollover is you've got to add to it. That's the excitement.
Yeah, there's a couple of albums that were.
Okay, well, it's also the Fools and Horses video with the free.
I don't think I'm bloody jealous of that. I like that little yellow thing.
It's a little. There's a little kind of model three-wheeled van.
Rodney, you plonker.
Oh, dude.
What's that?
This is what looks to be some kind of best of the stereo MCs.
Don't call me a plonker, you wanker.
The David Attenborough DVD collection.
Oh, Unc shit himself again.
Oh yeah, the big prize that we tried to give away now. Best chill out album. Who is that supposed to be an impression of? Which member of the cast is that? Is that Cheeky Dell?
I don't know.
Best chill out album ever, the best
Brilliant.
guitar volume 2, and of course for all our fans, Doctor Who, The Aztecs. That's on DVD, and that's one of the William Hartnell Doctor Who. Alright. That's the worst impression I've ever heard. That's brilliant.
Right, then.
Right, three cryptic stuff. Oh, come on.
Right.
Rodney,
Three, I can't do it.
No, come on!
Right, three cryptic, clues.
some of which may be wrong.
Yeah, and don't take the letters literally.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
And some initials, and it makes up a band. So here we go then. There's three of them. You email in ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Yeah.
Right, here we go then.
Sure.
Number one. The weather stinks, doesn't it?
The weather stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's R.
That's R.
Right.
The weather stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah. Second one. Look, Gran, just get on the boat and help us out.
Alright, give us that again.
Look, Gran, just get on the boat and help us out.
Look, Gran, just get on the boat and help us out. What's the initial?
R again.
R again, interesting.
Yeah. And then the third one, if you're gonna do that with your drink, I'd let it settle for a bit before you open it. CK.
CK.
Alright,
Once more?
So quickly, all the way through then. Number one, the weather stinks, doesn't it? That's R. Look, Gran, just get on the boat and help us out, will you? That's R as well. And then the last one, if you're gonna do that to your drink, I'd let it settle for a bit before you open it. CK.
Ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Right, we'll have a bit of vinyl.
Let's have a classic.
Carl?
Alright.
What's the matter? Huh?
Just, you know what's the matter.
What?
Should I explain?
If you want.
I'm sort of an independent adjudicator, and I couldn't help but notice that you both went out to make the teas, but only one of you came back with a wig made out of that poppy stuff that you pack.
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap, yeah.
And he didn't want me to do it with sellotape, so I kind of did it with elastic bands that I found. Apparently it hurt his ear, it's cut into his head, and look at him, he's annoyed. I don't know.
There's not many times I've ever done, any form of work really, where halfway through it, let's say a 2-hour live radio show, one of the people has said to the other, can I make out of this big cardboard box a bishop's hat for you?
Well, I did that, and
start fashioning that.
And
well,
yeah, but the sellotape hurt his eyebrows. So when we went to the kitchen, I kind of did it with elastic bands, and that was cutting into his ear or something. I don't know, making excuses. Oh,
Carl, you are here for Ricky Gervais's amusement. I think if you check the small print of your contract.
Have you got anything interesting about a monkey or an ape so we can do chimpanzee that?
I know something that a lot of other people will know, but I'll...
Well, let's do it then.
What's it called again?
Well, should we do a jingle?
Well, do a little jingle for us then.
Oh, chimpanzee that!
Brilliant. That's great.
Right.
So I look forward to that every week.
Yeah.
And what's your interesting chimp fact?
Right, it's about, this monkey ages ago.
Of course.
Don't know where it happened.
17th century?
I think it was a chimp. Right. Got caught having a fag. You know it?
What do you mean, do I know it? Oh, narrow it down. Loads of chimps are caught with woodbines.
Right.
He got caught having a fag.
So it was sent to court. And,
Was it underage?
It was,
And it got someone to go into the newsagent for him.
Did he get a bigger gorilla to go into the newsagent to get 20 Rothmans?
it ended up doing time. Because it was
Go back a minute, wait a minute,
What do you mean?
whoa.
No, I don't know that's as much as I know, so there's no point questioning.
That is as much as you know, isn't it? Quite literally.
Sorry, but why did he go to prison?
It's against the law to have a monkey having a fag.
In a built-up area. What are you talking about? It's against the law for a monkey to have a fag. What if it got it himself? Even if it just... What about if it earned it himself, just like moving tyres round or mucking out the zebras?
I don't know the full story.
You don't know the full story, do you?
But do you think...
You never do
I
you?
presume it was a monkey from a zoo, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be fed up, though? Because in a way, it's home from home, isn't it? When I read it, I didn't think it was that bad, because I just thought, well,
they don't put monkeys in prison.
They didn't put the monkey in a prison.
They're overcrowded. They haven't got the space.
Well, I'll find it and give you the where I got it from, and you
Trapper Harris was furious because the monkey got the top bunk.
Yeah.
Can I just,
And he did. Okay, then. Oh, chimpanzee that. Another one next week.
I don't think so. Rockbusters, right? Can I just, recap?
Yeah, because actually I have to say you've really stumped people this week.
Yeah.
Well, either that or they just can't be bothered
wrong.
anymore.
Well, they're wrong again.
No, right.
I think the prizes are so pitiful they can't be asked.
Let me just explain it again, just in case they don't understand it. It's a cryptic clue, right? And it makes up a band, and the initial that I
Sometimes.
give you is the initial that the band or the artist starts off with. So last week, I can't remember, but we did AK, an exploding pet, atomic kitten. That explains it. So very quickly, number one.
No, last week we did FP. That you gave out the clue. FD, Frida Payne.
Yeah, it was an error. So
They're all right this week, though, are they?
Yeah, the weather stinks, doesn't it? That's the cryptic clue, and the letter is R. Number two.
That's the rainy smell, boys.
Right. Look, Gran, just get on the boat and help us out, will you? That's R as well. And the last one, if you
that's rigging nanny.
If you're going to do that to your drink, I'd let it settle for a bit before you open it. That's CK.
Right.
Ricky.Gervais at xfm.co.uk. Plus, keep your problems and queries coming in for Karl. We've got another one as well, which I'd like to give you after the next track, Karl, if I may. Alright?
You've got a problem, haven't you?
What with? Oh, yeah.
Listen to this, Karl.
Let's play a record, let's come back with this.
Listen to me, Karl. That's David Bowie. Is there life on Mars? Do you reckon?
I reckon there's more going on than just us messing about. I reckon.
I hope so.
I think.
Tell Steve your problem that you aired to me.
Well, do you know, like, I'm always thinking about stuff when I'm washing up.
I'm just going to look at Steve for the reaction when this question comes out. Okay.
There's been a few things I've been thinking about. Do you know, like, how I tried to confuse a computer by putting in Y in the search engine?
Yeah.
So, along the lines of that, I was thinking in the week, if you put a chameleon on a mirror, what would happen?
Right.
And also, this is a bit of a bigger issue. We're always making more and more stuff, right? In the world, you know, big buildings, big planes, big boats and that. Will we ever get to a point where all this is too heavy for the world to handle?
Right, what error has he made there, Steve? What physical, scientific error has he made there with that question?
I can't begin to explain it.
Karl, we're not getting the rocks from other planets. It's already here. It's like having a big pile of books in a room and then moving them over to the other side of the room and build a thing going, oh, can the room take it? I'm building a lot of things out of these books.
What about plastic? Where's that come from?
Other chemicals that existed on the planet.
Yeah.
Did you see the point?
Hang on a minute, though. What about a little tree? You plant that as an acorn, it grows, Rick. That's bigger, that's more stuff.
Yeah.
Don't listen to him, Karl. He's patronising you.
What about acorns and that, though?
Right, they grow from minerals and proteins already in our atmosphere or in our, the mass of Earth.
What about a cat, Karl? Right, you get it, it's a very tiny kitten, but it grows up and it's bigger.
Karl, he's doing it on purpose.
Elephants.
They're very small to begin with, but they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and so they get heavier and heavier.
Mind you, dinosaurs have gone.
You know, but famously that's how Atlantis disappeared. You know, you've heard of the legend of Atlantis. Have you heard of the legend of Atlantis?
I think so.
This was a city that existed, it's proven, right? And what happened was they just kept buying stuff in mail order. They just kept ordering stuff, like the king and stuff, just kept ordering stuff in mail order. He brought girls across,
Carpets, lot of carpets.
He kept buying TV set, big screen TVs and stuff like that. And eventually,
he bought up all the myrrh that the wise men didn't want.
yeah, because he's from like olden times, and he just kept buying stuff, crazy. Like he was just a shopaholic, basically.
Mental it was.
And he was ludicrous. It was like, and in the end, it just sunk. It just sunk.
Too heavy.
And it just sunk.
So, the more planes we build, the more trees we let grow.
Yeah.
From acorns.
And more than that, what about all the people who are overeating?
There's only one
your Rick
thing to do.
Warriors in this world.
I think we've got to kill off endangered species and burn trees. That's the only way the Earth can survive. You mental. Right, what are you doing?
Right.
Okay, look, a quick query for you. This is from Jay. He's got a problem here. He says, my parents won't let me ditch my studies. He's currently reading modern languages at London University.
Sure.
He wants to follow his dream, but his parents won't let him, of being a dancer. Carl. Worse than that, he says that they're trying to arrange a marriage to a bunch of minging daughters of people they know from good families. He doesn't know what to do, so he's got the arranged marriage coming along, and he's also got, he basically wants to be a dancer. His parents are forcing him into something more practical.
Well, the first thing, right, I don't think
Live your dreams?
the arranged marriage thing is such a bad idea.
Okay.
Because I think too many people go on looks,
Right.
and then you soon get bored of that, and you find out the person who you're knocking about with, it's actually not your type.
Right.
Why don't you arrange marriages for people?
Well, I'm just saying, right, so I'd say, Jay, go along with that. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
I mean, if they're really ugly, then, don't go along with it, but if they're half bad,
Yeah.
put up with it. That's
Sure.
right. The dancing,
Brilliant.
right,
That's that solved.
Brilliant.
I wanted to be a dancer. After I did the boxing, right, I joined a dancing thing just near Man United's ground, right, called Twiggies. Went along, I wanted to learn some moves.
How old were you?
Well, it was when Michael Jackson was, pretty big, so about 83, 84, 85, something like that, around there. Wanted to do it. When I went, it was shut, and it had become like a warehouse for toilet rolls. So in a way, I wonder what would have happened.
Sorry, how is that an anecdote about you going through dancing? You've told me before, you did boxing for a while, and you did dancing for a while. You had a true fight in the boxing, you didn't even get in the that's not imagine if that was a film! This is a boy's dreams of becoming a dancer. Oh, it's shut. Next on. I mean, how is that a story?
Yeah, is that with Billy Elliot? Do you think he won quite as many awards?
Yeah, brilliant. Footloose. Alright?
Yeah.
I'm fed up, they banned it. Let's go on eyes shut. Flash dance. First, there was... it's a warehouse. Never mind.
I'm just saying, you'll find something else. I think I got a go-kart after that. I bought a motorised go-kart and kept myself busy with that. So... There's always other things.
Just think, Alan Bennett has to sit down and really sweat over his stories.
Yeah.
He just opens his mouth.
You are a living Alan Bennett character.
So that's
solved. Well, Jay, don't worry about that. There's no emotional problems I can foresee if you follow that advice.
So the advice there is do an arranged marriage.
If she's not
ugly. Minging,
yeah.
She's not completely minging,
yeah.
And don't worry about dancing, get a go-kart. Cheers.
Great.